Hi everyone, welcome back. I thought we would do a video today just playing with watercolors. So I'm going to start off by using my brayer and braying or moving around some acrylic gesso on a piece of paper. This is a pretty good quality cardstock. It's from Studio Calico, but I just think that you still need to add gesso to it in order to kind of use the watercolors. And you'll see what I mean later on how I'm going to use the watercolors. The brayer I had just gotten. I've seen a couple people using brayers and I wanted to give it a try. And I'm going to tell you, I really like how it turned out. I've had some issues with brushes or spatulas and that they leave lines and streaks. The brayer really gave a very consistent kind of flat gesso on my page. So if you haven't given it a try, I highly recommend it. This is just the first time I've done it, so I'll use it a few more times. I know people use brayers for other things, but this is what I thought I would try it. The gesso, I did get a pretty nice thin coating, but I still am going to shoot a heat gun on it just so I can kind of make sure it's dry. You want to make sure your gesso is dry before you start adding the watercolors, particularly if you have white gesso like I do, just so that you make sure you don't mix it with any of the paint. So right here on the right, you'll see I've got my palette of watercolors. This is from Michael's, from one of their little bins, in the middle of the store. I think it was $5. I'm pretty sure it wasn't more than that. And at the time, I had just wanted to try watercolors. People had done it, and I had been debating about buying some of the expensive. We all know what I'm talking about. There's some you get like 3 watercolors for $20, and a palette. Then you add it to some other palette, and I really just wanted to see if I would like it before I committed to that much money. And this little kit, I've had it for over a year. It's well loved, and I have done a lot with it. I've painted with it. I've mixed colors. I really have enjoyed it, and I think until this one is just dead, I think this is probably how I'm gonna continue to do watercoloring. Is just with this little $5 set. Same thing with the brushes. I have a set of brushes, just a mixed set of brushes I got from Walmart. They're come in all different sizes and shapes, and that's what I use. Haven't spent a lot of money on brushes or watercolors, and I think, scrapbooking can be really expensive, particularly if you're doing it like I do it, which is just a hobby. I'm pretty excited. My channel finally got over 100 viewers, but this is just a hobby for me. It's a hobby that brings me joy. It helps with my stress. It helps with my anxiety, but it's a hobby. So I don't want to spend, hundreds of dollars on watercolor when I can spend hundreds of dollars on paper. And that's kind of what I have been doing. So um, I am just kind of finishing out this page because I decided I wanted to have all of the colors. And here's a little trick that I will tell you. This particular blue was not deep enough. I wanted more of a navy blue. I wanted it to go all the way up to navy. So I just took the black and added it on there. Now remember when I said you needed to have gesso? Well, because I had gesso on the page, it allowed those colors to blend easier. If I had just done paper and put watercolor on it, the first color I put in would have stuck right on it and I would have been able to get that nice deep navy. So if you do want to blend colors, or you want to have kind of what I'm doing now, which is running the ink up and down the paper to kind of get a nice where the colors bleed into each other, you really do need to have the gesso. So I'm going to clean that up and put that aside, and then I'm going to come to kind of building the rest of the page. So the other thing that you can do with a good watercolor set is, if you see the approach that some people use with Miss or the Heidi Swap Color Shine, where they fling it, and I've done it too on some of my videos. You can recreate that with this watercolor set. So color shines, mica mist, all of those, expensive. You know, $6 a bottle, $5, all this colors, colors imaginable. And see, you just take a paintbrush, wet it down, flick it. The more water you add, the less deep it will be, the color. But I think it turned out great. I like how this turns out, and you'll see it in the close-ups later. these spots really do kind of build and make the layout, make that background kind of pop and the colors come in. So what had happened is I had done this background and I wasn't really sure what I was going to use it for. And I was going through my old stash and I found the last kind of remnants of my Just a Little Lovely collection. I think it was last year, it was 2019 at some point, and I had these acetate flowers. You're going to see them. And the acetate flowers came in two kind of designs. One was just a gold outline, and the other had all of these beautiful colors. You could see that wreath there. The colors ended up matching almost exactly all of the colors I had just been using. So I had the entire set of the floral acetates because I could never find a page or a design that I thought kind of did them justice, and I just couldn't make them work. So I decided to make them work with putting the gold ones that don't have a color on top of this ombre paper, and then so that you can still see the ombre through the gold, and then use the ones that have the color and use that to frame out the ombre page. I feel like that the best look to the overall flowers. It kind of made them pop and it made the colors pop, and it just ended up being the exact perfect way to use both of these sets of flowers. So I framed out the picture with the gold, and now I'm going to frame out the matte there, the ombre page. And I'm assuming you guys can tell I tore the ombre page around and kind of just made a little mat for her photo. And I'm just arranging these florals to try to make sure you could see them, make sure they pop. I'm using plain Scotch quick dry glue in my fine line bottle. This is my new fine line bottle with a standard tip because my original fine line bottle, I took the top off of it, put the top down on my desk, and it fell off the desk, and now I have no idea where it is. It is either down the heat shaft, underneath the scrap box, maybe the cats kicked it and it could be anywhere, but I was on my hands and knees for about 3 hours looking for the lid to this fine line bottle. And if you have a fine line bottle, you know, without the lid with a little pin in it, it's basically just a useless piece of plastic. So I ended up getting a new fine line bottle, and within about 5 seconds I dropped the lid to it, but I found it, so we're okay. We'll see how long this one lasts. The glue does dry clear, and it's with all the mixed media and the acetate, really this is not a great page for the ATG gun. You really need liquid glue and liquid adhesive, and that's basically what I do for this whole thing is I just use liquid adhesive. I'm going to use liquid adhesive to stick fun foam on the back of this whole piece of paper because you're just going to need to be able to stick it down. Then I'll use the adhesive that's on the fun foam to stick it to the page. And you'll see me here at the end. I'm actually going to take one of my big completed albums and just lay it on top of this for a while. Just to try to make it stick. So there's that. So just to kind of make it stick, I left it there for a little while and pushed it down. So to finish off this page, really it doesn't need much. The page itself is just pretty. I mean, it's not really about. Sometimes pages tell a story. Sometimes they're about journaling. Sometimes, like this page, it's just about fun. Sometimes you just want to play with the product. And today this really was me playing with the product. From my watercolors to this old collection that I had always wanted to use that I couldn't find the right place for, and it just all worked out together. So I really encourage you to get your supplies out and sometimes, just have fun. And this was a lot of fun for me to put together. I can tell you that using these acetate flowers that I have had in my collection for so long and taken out multiple times and tried to put on a page and ended up just putting them all back in the drawer. and finally getting them not just one or two, kind of as embellishments, but kind of featuring them on a page, and featuring them on a page that also includes, me playing with watercolors. It was a really, really cool moment, and I was really excited about it. I had a few of the stickers left from the Just a Little Lovely, and the two words I had were sweet moment, and I thought that went perfectly. Colors worked. I'm going to add some of the matching florals, so they're all the same design. The background paper is the black and white of those florals. The acetates have the florals, and then these stickers are the puffy sticker version of these florals. So it's all the same floral, just in different textures. So I kind of liked that too. And that is basically the end of the layout. So I've got a few close-ups. The first close-up is of the whole page, kind of without the glare, so hopefully you like that. Then I'm going to show you kind of up close. Look how gorgeous that acetate is against that black and white, and you can see how those paint splatters really come through. Same thing with the ombre. The gold on that ombre really worked. So here's the final page. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, and give me a comment and tell me what products you've enjoyed playing with lately. Thanks. Bye-bye.